Hi guys, good morning. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but the sun hasn't been my friend. Like it rained throughout yesterday, then this morning was a bit sunny, then all of a sudden the sun has disappeared. This is what you guys get, right? It's not so dark, but it's you guys are gonna have to manage this. Thank you. I watched the last video I posted and the amount of and like and what else do I say often? And like and so was like alarming. So in this video, I'm going to do my best not to do that a lot, which is going to be very hard because that's the way I literally speak. So let's get to this video. So this video is my what I read in June video. I just did it again. Oh my god. Okay guys, let's get into the video. So the first book I read this month was The Bodyguard, and The Bodyguard was about okay, so this time around the woman was the bodyguard and then the guy was the client. She was like a boss lady. Hannah Brooks has made it to my like best top 10 favorite female fictional characters. She was such a boss lady. So in the book, she worked for a bodyguard agency, and she was one of the best staffs there. She was let us say staffs. She was one of the best staff, and she just lost her mom, and she was one of those people that could not sit in one place. So she didn't want to stay in one place, so she start to think and all that. So she wanted to work, but her boss didn't want her to work, and then she had to fight with her ex-boyfriend for a promotion. And then because she was grieving, right, the boss didn't want her to do so many like hard stuff, so he put her to be the bodyguard of one of the guy, the main guy. So the book had a bit of forced proximity. It had fake dating. I really liked it, and then because of that book, I've been buying or trying to read all Catherine Center books. So the book was it was very clean, but it still made me giddy, still made me smile, still made me shake my feet. It was so awesome. Yeah, I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars. Yeah, so that's the first book I read. Then the second book I read was Ruthless Rivals by LJ Sheen. So I don't know why I thought like LJ Sheen just used to write smart, but like so I was very surprised to like this book. So I was in the library for a bit, and I just grabbed a book that I saw, right, and it was Ruthless Rivals, and it was so good. Like it was way better than I expected it to be. I really can't remember what it was about, but I think the guy was a lawyer. He was a lawyer, and then he was a lawyer, and then he was trying to prove himself in his company. He wanted to become a partner, and then she was the daughter of the guy. Okay, so he had to take a case. Like there was this big guy. I think he was once the mayor. He was running for mayor or something. He was just a big guy, and then the female character in the book was the daughter of that guy, right? So I think she worked in PR. So she was the PR person for her dad, trying to make him look good, trying to tell the world that her dad didn't do what they are saying he did. So it was just like they had like they were going after each other. So this book had like enemies to lovers, and then they knew each other like years ago. So it had enemies to lovers, it had second chance romance. There was what else? What other trope was in this book? I said again. What other trope was in this book? It was a very good book. I gave it 4.5 stars. Like it was so good. So I guess I'm going to be reading a lot of LJ Shin from now. So the next book I read was I forgot to mention, I think I read 9 or 10 books this June. So it's so hard for me to keep up. So the next book I read was The Iron Flower. This one had 5 stars. So The Iron Flower is the second book in the Black Witch Chronicles. Don't be scared. Black Witch is not. She wasn't witch. So the Black Witch was the first book. I also gave that 5 stars. I think I read that in April, and it was mind blowing. It was so good. And I wonder why it's not very popular on social media. I think I've seen it just once, and the lady there described it as Harry Potter for adults, and that was enough to get me hooked because I'm a Harry Potter girly. So I read the first book, I was amazed. The second book, also amazed, 5 stars. I think the second book was better than the first book. So I can't imagine what the third book is going to be. So there are 5 books in the series. I'm on the second book. What do I want to say about the book? I don't think I should say much. If you like fantasy, you need to read the book. It's YA, but it is so good. But I think I'm going to stop on book 2 until I get my hands on the series. Then I can start again from book 1 to book 5 until I get my hands on the like physical books. So I can start again. So I bought like I don't want to say how many books I bought this holiday. So I'm gonna wait till maybe December or next year to buy the series. So I'm gonna start all over again. I can't wait. I'm too excited. So the next book I read, or should I say listen to, because this was audiobook. But to me, like audiobooks are still books, right? So the next book I read was The Dixon Rule. So The Dixon Rule is the second book in a series. I can't remember what the series is called, but the first one was The Graham Effect. So if you guys have read the deal is the Graham Effect about the daughter of the guy in the deal, right? And the deal was phenomenal. I think I gave it 4.5 also, but I didn't really like the Graham Effect. I think I gave that 3 stars. The Dixon Rule is about the friend of the girl in the Graham Effect, and I also didn't really like it. It was about a cheerleader and also a hockey player. Shen. Shen was the best friend of Ryder in book 1, right? So it was just there also. I think I also gave that a 3 stars. There was romance. There was also what else was in that book? Yeah, it was a good book. I'll read another book by the writer, but it wasn't phenomenal. Yeah. So the next book I read, was Yinka, Where's Your Husband? I read it for book club. This is my second time reading the book this year. No, not this year. I think I read it last year, December or so. So Yinka, Where's Your Husband is what you think Yinka, Where's that the book will be about. So it was about a Yoruba girl who lived in the UK, and how like African parents, Nigerian parents in particular, Nigerian moms in particular, like hound their daughters to get married. So this one, the hounding was like it was too much. So like she did a lot of things to get attention, to get like male attention. She changed herself a bit. I don't usually like messy people, but I really liked Yinka and I was rooting for her to find herself, to find love. It ended so well. It was a very, very good book. And I hope like parents, like, just leave your daughters alone, like they'll find somebody. And the funny thing is that, you know how in secondary school they'll say, oh, don't have any boyfriend, all of a sudden after uni, where's your husband? Like, mom, like where am I meant to meet this man if you didn't want me to have a boyfriend? Yeah, so it was just like a bit annoying, but the book ended well. It was so good. I love the sense of humor of the writer. um it was a very long book for how light it was, like how breezy the book was. It was such an easy read, but it was very long. I think it should have been a bit shorter, but it was still very good. I gave it a 3.75. Yeah, good book. So the next book I read was Life's Too Short. So we've gotten to the books I did for my 24-hour readathon, and you guys already know um how I felt about the books I read. If you don't know, maybe you should watch the video. I'm gonna link that. So the first one was Life's Too Short. This was good. It was about can't remember. It was it was about a YouTuber, yes, a YouTuber, and then a lawyer, a criminal lawyer. Jimenez is great. Yeah, so I'm a big fan now. Like I've got Instagram to follow her bakery. Yeah, so the next book I read was Red Rising. This book, amazing, like amazing. I'm going to the library after I make this video, and I'm hoping that they have book two. So this is also one of the books that series that I'm gonna buy next year, hopefully. I think there are three. I'm not sure, but he has another series right after that, and then there are also three, so six books. I think. God give me money. Yeah. So this book, you guys, I've gushed about this book enough. It was about so it gave like so this book had like my some of my favorites. So it was like some of my favorite. What am I saying? So it had attributes from some of my favorite books like The Poppy War, Harry Potter, a little bit of Fourth Wing. What else? Like some of my favorite books. There were things from every book in this book. It was so good. It was like somebody from like the red class like moving up to the gold. It was so amazing, so amazing. You guys should read this. It's sci-fi, but don't be scared. It is good. This was my first sci-fi book, and then I'm not gonna be scared anymore. There's another guy, Andy Ware. I've heard a lot about Hail Mary or Project Hail Mary. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I heard that book is phenomenal. So I'm gonna look for that too. I'm gonna buy that and read that later. But yeah, so this book was so good. Next book was When in Rome. When in Rome also had a baker. The guy was a baker. He was a pie maker. He inherited the business from his grandma. She was a celebrity. She was a singer. She was one of the top singers, like the Taylor Swift of this world. She He had three sisters. So I read the book two before I read this one. So the book two was about his younger sister and her bodyguard. Like amazing book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's called Practice Makes Perfect. I like that way more than I like this one, but this one was also good. She was a singer. She came to his small town. A small town romance. There was forced proximity. There was grumpy sunshine. So many tropes that I don't like, but I like forced proximity. But tropes I don't like, but this book made it work. It was a very, 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 very good book. Then the next book I read was The Poppy War. If you follow me on Instagram, I think I've posted about this book a few times. I just finished it yesterday, I think. I've posted about it a few times. This book, RF Kwang, like so I fell in love with RF Kwang. Not fell in love, like I liked her before I read any of her work. So I think I saw a video of her, like an interview, and her sense of humor was up there, and I love people with great sense of humor. So I'm talking a lot on this video. So The Poppy War is her first book, her debut novel, and like amazing. So starting this book, I was already in love. Like first page, I knew it was going to be a 5-star book. It was so awesome. So it was like a grass to grace. It's a grass to grace story. She went through so much. It reminded me of a phrase in a book I'm currently reading, Man's Search for Meaning, where they quoted Nietzsche. Was it Nietzsche? They quoted him where he said, if the why is important, the how doesn't matter. Just trying to say, like, no matter what you're going through, if you have a why, you will get it, you succeed. So she went through so much to get into a particular school, and nobody liked her. She was from a poor village, so nobody. And then this school had so many rich guys, rich people, so nobody liked her. and then she had to fight her way. There were scenes where I almost cried. And then towards the end of the book it ended well. I gave it a 4.5 stars, or a 4.5 stars, but I would have given it a 5. But Rain just went crazy. Like she just went crazy towards the end of the book. So this book is also a trilogy. There are two other books. I'm also gonna stop reading now till I can buy the book so I can read it again, because it's one of the books that I really want to have. It's such a good book. Yeah. So that's all, guys. That's all I read. If you have read any of these books, like, shoot me a comment. I'm sorry, like a YouTuber. Send me a message and let me know. If you don't agree with any of my thoughts, send me a message and let me know. So I'm gonna go to the library now to return these books and then to get new ones for the month. Okay, guys. I might take you guys with me. Yeah. So see you. Bye, guys. So I'm in the library now. I'm going towards recently returned books because I feel like people borrowed the good books. Okay. So this is Andy Ware that I was talking about. Hi guys, I'm finally back from the library. The sun has finally decided to come out and play, and it was not joking with the play, man. It was so hot. So let me show you guys all the books I got from the library and then all the books I plan to read this July. So the first book I got was This Could Be Us, written by Kennedy Ryan. It's a new book. I think it came out early this year. I've already read the first book in the series before I let go. I read it for a book club with some of my friends. Yeah, so it was a very nice book. It was a book, there was second chance romance in it. It was a book of forgiveness. It was a book of it just told me how, like, well, it emphasized how we should take control of our mental health, like how we should, like, your mental health is as important as your physical health, right? So it just made me more serious about that. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this book because it's also about the character that I actually like, one of the friends of the main character in Before I Let Go. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it for my readathon this July, or I'm going to read it right away. It's that good, I think. Then the next book I'm going to read is Patsy. This one is for book club, the same book club that I read Before I Let Go for. So it's so the book club is so I have with a group of friends and my sister. We meet every month to talk about books, life, different things. I don't know what I'll do without those girls. Thank you guys. So the next book we're reading is Patsy. So one of my friends said this book is so deep, so we had to divide it into two. So we're reading some parts in July and then some parts in August. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Then the next book is Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare. So I've heard a lot of good things about Cassandra Clare, especially her Clockwork series. I haven't found that anywhere, so I'm really looking forward to getting that. I haven't heard one bad thing about that series. I've also watched the other series. What's it called? What's it called? I literally just said it. I can't remember, but the one with Shadow Hunters, I think it's on Netflix. So I've seen that one. I really liked it. So this, I've heard good things about it. It's also new. It came out in 2023. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it will be. It's very big. Then the final book I got from the library is They Had It. So this is the second book in the Red Rising trilogy about my guy. I think his name was Faro or Daro. Yeah, so it's the second book. I'm so excited to read it. I'm also not sure if I'm gonna wait till my reader turn to read it, if I'm gonna read it right away. Wait, I won't be sure of his name. What's his name? Daru, I was right. Yeah, so that's that. So my next book to show you guys is 1 minute. So I made this funny pouch. I don't know why I did, but yeah. So I didn't want to carry my book and mess it up. So I just made a pouch for it. So next book is Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm reading this for book club with my sister. So two of my sisters and I are in a book club. So the same thing, we meet every month and gist and talk about books. So this month we are doing Daisy Jones and the Six. I already started. I said a while ago, but they mentioned that they wanted to read this book for book club, so I stopped. So written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, one of my favorite authors. She's amazing. She wrote Karisoto is Dead. She wrote Malibu Rising, two of my favorite books. So she wrote Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm sure you've heard about that. That's a very popular book. So Daisy Jones and the Six, also one of the books that people say is very good. Those that have watched the show on Hulu and those that have read the book said you actually think the band is a real band, like the band in the book is a real band in real life. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading this. So I'm in two different book clubs, one with my sisters and one with my friends. Then I also have buddy reads with some of my friends that like to read. I'm having one with Zeno. We're doing lessons in chemistry. Now I'm having one with Dami. Dami used to read so much in school, and then all of a sudden she used to read a lot more than me in uni, and then all of a sudden she just stopped reading. So I'm trying to get her back on reading. We're doing Zikora by Chimamanda. So yeah, those are all the books I plan to read. I plan to, so these are five, six, seven. Okay, so I also plan to read to finish up Man's Search for Meaning. It's an autobiography, I think, or a biography, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's about a guy that survived the Second World War. So he just spoke about his experiences. So I have read it before for school, but I'm reading it again because that book is a book that everybody needs to read like once in their lifetime. It is so good and to make you appreciate life. So I'm reading that. So those are eight books that I have to read in July. So eight might seem like a small number, but look at how thick these three are. Like they're so thick. So yeah, hopefully I finish them. So thanks for watching, guys. You spent the whole day with me. Have a great week. Bye.